Hey everybody, it's Pete. Good morning. Well, it's Thursday morning, February 25th, 2021. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Market staged another incredible after open rally. Been happening somewhere between a half an hour and an hour after the market opens recently. You kind of had to wade through the opening, especially on Monday where we had heavy selling. If you stayed patient like we do in the boot camp, you were just waiting for the right time to start getting in there. And that's a big part of building an argument for a trade where not yet, not yet, not yet. Okay, let's go. And that's the separation between chart reader and trader. A chart reader just looks for the patterns. A trader actually looks for, okay, not yet, not, like Mel Gibson in Braveheart. Hold. Finally, right? Again, yesterday around 10 o'clock, 10:15, the market bottomed out. The market internal started to look good. Pretty much had a rally for the rest of the day. Just a question of being in the right stocks yesterday. And that's the whole point of this. That's the whole point of the game plan. The whole point of the game plan is you're not overwhelmed. You're actually in control of what goes on during the day. And you are the reason you're making money, not the market just exploding and you happen to be lucky. You never want to be lucky. You want to be good. Good can be repeated, which takes us into something that I've been trying my best not to talk about, but it reared its ugly head again yesterday. And of course, I'm talking about GameStop, the stock who shall not be named. They're calling them meme stocks. They're calling them Reddit stock, whatever the heck you want to call it. I'm not going to give a big speech on this. Look, everything we do here is for educational purposes. You make your own decisions. I'm just going to give you some veteran advice. Let's just call it wisdom. I don't like to use the word advice. I'm going to give you some veteran wisdom. If you get involved in this, okay, I'm going to put it up there again, just to if you get involved in this, just ask yourself if you feel like you're in control of the outcome. How did that work out for everybody who got involved in the 300s, 400s, and now the thing went all the way back down to the 50s? This is a unique situation. Let's call it a black swan, whatever you want to call it. I'm not telling you to trade it. I'm not suggesting you trade it. Although I do have something super interesting that you probably wouldn't believe that I'm going to say in about a second. Just ask yourself if you have control over the outcome. What we do is incredibly less stressful. It's really just a matter of creating a game plan and scripting it in liquid stocks, in market leading stocks, in stocks that you've heard of, because that's where the smart money is sitting. The smart money is not playing this game. This is dumb money chasing a fad, for lack of a better way of putting it. So again, I'm not giving you advice. This is all educational. Just ask yourself before you jump in, before you borrow money to jump in. Like I was reading article after article about a week and a half ago of people leveraging themselves to get involved in this stock in the 300s, in the 400s, and now they're screwed because now they have to pay these loans back, got margin calls, and it's an ugly situation. So again, ask yourself if you're trading this. Now I'm going to say something really crazy in a second. If you're trading this, ask yourself if you're in control of the outcome. You want to be in control of the outcome, and that's very challenging to do right now with the way this stock is trading. Now, the controversial thing I'm going to say, this is one of those few times where I actually think if you choose to get involved, if you're experienced, if you have discipline, if you understand how to read the tape, probably a better situation right now to be doing it as a day trader. You have direct to market execution access. You can get in and out quickly. You could, if you make fast decisions. Again, this is all educational purposes. I'm giving you my experience as a longtime day trader and a longtime stock trader. I feel personally, if I was to get involved in this, which I'm not walking our community through this. We don't trade penny stocks. I'm not getting involved in this nonsense because we have a lot of new traders, a lot of people that really want to learn how to trade stocks. This is not stock trading where you're learning a skill. This is a once in a while moment. And if you're doing it, and if you happen to be an experienced trader who's good at placing orders and good at making decisions, I think day trading it in this particular instance would be the way to have that control. So if you happen to be a neophyte, if you happen to be somebody who's a new trader, especially if you're a Robinhood trader or somebody who just started at the bottom of the pandemic almost a year ago, where the market's done nothing but go up since then, Gosh, if you were my friend, I'd tell you to step away and change the stock symbol. If you were my personal friend, I would say stay away from the nonsense and just watch the other stocks that we call out because you've heard of them. Visa, MasterCard, ExxonMobil, all of those kind of stocks that we called out yesterday, which we're going to talk about right now in a second. So if you find these videos helpful, this is what we do every day. I wanted to do my best to put you in position to be in stocks that everybody's heard about. There's plenty of liquidity, plenty of opportunity. And that to me is just a lot less stressful way to do it. So that's my take on something that I've tried not to talk about, but it popped up again yesterday afternoon where the stock was up over 104%. So if you find these videos helpful and you like this kind of stuff, give us a thumbs up and definitely subscribe to the channel. You get more alerts, you get more trading education. We actually did a moving average strategy yesterday that I think you kind of like too. So I'll put the link up here in a second. So just one other thing I want to point out, some idiot has is using my image and created a fake page, and he's putting WhatsApp phone numbers into the comments. I will never put a WhatsApp phone number in the comments, so don't reply to this jerk, for lack of a better way of putting it. So anyway, let's head on over to the charts. We're going to take a look, and we're going to start out with the story here, which is obviously wait, sharing the wrong screen here. Let me get back over to that right here. Okay, so the story, in case you didn't actually happen to see it yesterday, this is actually what happened yesterday afternoon. So this is 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon. So the stock basically from around 2:30 was around $50, and then before the market closed, it actually was halted here just prior to the market. It was in the 90s actually, and then it exploded after hours, went all the way up to 190, 200, and now it's kind of floating around 143. Again, I'm not going to beat this into the ground, or maybe you feel like I have already. This is not something you want to be involved with unless you're experienced and you can make good, fast decisions. So we're going to leave it at that, okay? However, what we want to get across now is the ideas that hopefully you participated in yesterday. We called out Visa, gave buy stops yesterday in Visa. We called out MasterCard. Again, these are all stocks less stressful. You understand what the company does. So hopefully you got involved in these two ideas. We like and tend to stay with the liquid names that we know. We look for the industry leaders. We look for the sector leaders, and then we start to get involved. So these are two stocks that we called out yesterday. We called out TripAdvisor about 3 or 4 days ago. So hopefully you understand now we're getting involved in what a lot of people might call the get out of the house stocks, the good news on the pandemic, the good news on the vaccine related to the pandemic. Nothing with the pandemic is really good news. Don't take that out of context. The good news for the pandemic is that the COVID cases are going down. There seems to be more alternatives, which is starting to reflect in these get out of the house stocks, specifically, as we've been saying, the travel stocks, which hopefully now you understand that these should be on your radar. They're probably a little bit extended right now. What I think I would like to see in these stocks in particular, and we're going to take a look at Southwest in a second as well, I'd like to see them pause and give us a little bit of a better spot. Because remember, everything that we do together is very simple. It's 2 steps. Number 1 is finding the smart money. It's finding the order flow where deep pockets are doing something obvious. That's the first step. That's easily the first thing you need to do is first say, is it obvious? Can I look at that stock and say, buyers are definitely doing something right now. I want to hop on board. That's the first step. But remember, that second part, the hop on board part, is the part that a lot of people miss. You'll run a scanner, you'll see something pop in, a news story, and chase the price, and you don't realize that it might be the right side, but it's not the right moment. And that's where we really need the second part, which is tape reading and getting it as close as we can to the optimal entry. So when we're looking at some of these get out of the house stocks, and specifically, we've been looking at the energy stocks. We've been looking about the get out of the house stocks. They're a little bit extended now, so we want to see them pause a little bit so we could manage risk and then look for that next move. So United Airlines, what I just showed you there, kind of fits that category where you can see here it's a little bit extended and not yet. So yesterday, Visa and MasterCard, they were a lot closer. These are a little bit extended. So just give you a little bit of a list to have on your radar. And that's a big part of trading too. There's the daily game plan and then there's your watch list. Make sure this is in your watch list. So they're going to push, pause, and then during that pause is where we want. You can see actually Southwest, and this is really where multiple time frames comes into play. You can see that Southwest actually is coming up into major resistance and actually pre-pandemic resistance. So this is actually kind of like the right price up at that level. You can see for months even before the pandemic, it was going sideways at these levels. So make sure that you know your levels and how far or close you are to that optimal entry point before you put on a new trade. Because remember, we're accepting risk, we're accepting the downside, but the probability of achieving the profit is the reason we take the trade. So we're getting up to that area now. So let's say again, you have, let me come back here just for 1 second. If you have, let's say you have $10 worth of profit on what the stock normally does. If it's already gone 7.5, that's a different deal than if you bought it $7.5 ago near the optimal entry. So that's where that separates somebody who's from a smart trader, but a break-even trader, because you're getting it closer to the optimal entry where there's profit. But as that profit diminishes, you have to make sure that you are patient to wait for the next good entry where the profit is worth it to accept that risk. And that's what we do. That's a big part of what we do in the boot camp is first understanding how to identify the deep pockets, and then understanding how to what they call tape reading, which is getting it near the optimal entry and understanding where the optimal exit is. It's not that hard. You just need to learn the structure and then trust yourself again to be in control of the outcome. That's what you want. You want to feel confident. You want to feel secure. You want to know that you're the reason you're making money, not this shenanigans. You want to be the reason that you make money. And that's what that's kind of like my passion, to help other people really understand this is the process. Stay on the path. We're on the same path and just maybe a little bit further down from you. So let's continue to look at some of the stocks. We obviously talked about Visa. We talked about MasterCard. So again, energy stocks have been watching along those lines. Also is Marriott Hotel. Again, a little far past the optimal entry point, which was around 132. It's $24 after that, 24. Now it's past the optimal entry. Now we're looking for it to pause so we could manage risk again. But again, keep these on your radar. So you can see we're talking about stocks you've heard of and stocks that you kind of feel like, all right, if I understand what I'm looking at, I understand the outcome. That's where you want to be. So some new ideas that we haven't talked about in a while. Mosaic actually now very close to the optimal entry, setting up a new trade. And along those lines, also CF, two very similar charts. Now the tape is telling us it's time to get involved. Some of the energy stocks are a little bit extended. Oxy is not one of them. Oxy will be in the game plan today as well. Tech stocks, especially large cap tech stocks, are pretty much nowhere to be found yesterday. It was mostly just energy stocks and, again, cruise lines, airlines, that kind of thing. But WDC and Micron, both of them set up really well. Nasir, one of our members of the community, started calling out these stocks recently. Good job, Nasir. And we're going to finish up with Upwork. Upwork blew away earnings a couple of days ago, traded into one of our favorite patterns two days ago into a bullish U-turn. Yesterday, after a monster gap up, basically had selling the entire day. We were looking for a spot for the buyers to step back in. Just didn't happen. Today, I'm actually looking for the stock to go well bid today. I know that's a massive trading range yesterday, but I'm looking for buyers to step back in after yesterday's profit taking. You could actually see that it held the previous day's high, the bullish U-turn day high, held support. We're looking for them to come back in and step back in. Earnings today after the close. Well, first we got initial claims today and durable goods, but after the close today, earnings, CRM is scheduled, which is actually coming off of a pretty nice reversal. And a couple of interesting stocks, Airbnb, okay, and DoorDash. So two recent IPOs that are going to be reporting out, which will make it pretty interesting. So there's a lot on the table right now. And again, we can go down the list of the get out of the house stocks, Dick's Sporting Goods. The financial stocks have been really strong. So again, be smart. Think long term. Don't think this one event is something you're going to be missing out. Fight fear of missing out. Again, all educational purposes. Are you in control of the outcome? That's my passion. I want you to understand, if you're looking at something and you understand what you want to see, and then you see it, you're in charge of how that unfolds. You're in charge of setting the profit target. You're in charge of setting the stop loss and then learning how to trail that profit up if it moves in your favor. And you want liquidity, you want reliability in how the stock trades. That's what we do, and that's what you're going to get from me every day. So thank you so much for being here with me today. We have a lot to talk about. It's been a pretty good market environment. Hopefully you've been involved, especially in some of these energy stocks with us over the last week or so. They've been following through pretty good. They really haven't pulled back that much. Now it's just a question of, if you haven't yet, put them in the watch list and look for the next move. So Again, if you find these videos helpful, definitely give us a thumbs up. If you'd like to discuss anything in this video or something about these ideas, definitely leave me a comment. We always get back to you as soon as I can. And subscribe to the channel. I'd love to see you on the other side. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks so much.